Welcome back to Reviews from Another Dimension. Alright, real quickly at the top again, because I don't have a commercial that's made yet, and I will when I get back. If you want to pick up our new DVD, Unerotic Fantasies, go to walkawayentertainment.com, and I hope you enjoy all of the, porn. Anyway, hashtag Lance Camp. That's right. I told you I'd find us another dancing movie to watch this time, and I did. I found us actually, we found this together because it showed previews for this in front of one of the movies we went to. I think like Zoolander 2.
No, what was the most recent one we saw?
The most recent movie we went to go see? The Witch? Well, we were at both The Witch and
Risen. It was in front of Risen.
They showed previews for this. That's funny. In front of Risen.
Well, it was part of those, like, it wasn't really a preview. They were just commercials for things.
Commercials for YouTube Red. So it showed clips of this and Lazer Team and that unicorn documentary.
Unicorn documentary?
Yeah, it's like the other stuff. I don't know what the story is behind like a lot of these video series. I am the wrong person to ask. So I don't know anything about the people who made this movie other than they're called Awesomeness TV or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Channel Awesome made this. They decided to make a dance movie. They did not include me. Probably because I can't dance.
I can't either.
My dancing is not on. So what did you think compared to Dancin' It's On?
This one wasn't as hilarious.
No, it was not as hilarious because it's not nearly as bad as Dancin' It's On.
No.
I liked it better than Lazer Team too. But yeah, this movie is not nearly as inept as Dancin' It's On was. This honestly, it has the look and feel of, aside from a lot of the dancing movie tropes that have been around for a long ass time, it kind of has the look and feel of like I'm watching a Disney Channel movie. Yeah. Only if they could say like bitch and ass and shit and give each other the finger.
It was so much like a Disney Channel movie that every time someone swore, I was like, whoa!
It was honestly throwing me off too, because the acting in this, the story, the characters are like, if you were to just show me a single scene from this, I wouldn't necessarily think it was a theatrically released film, but granted, we saw Dancin' It's On in the theater.
True.
I would think that it was a Disney Channel movie until someone comes up and says, whoa, what the shit? Dude, you're being a dick. Let's get out of here,
or,
asses.
Emily towards the end being like, they're like, where's Hunter? And she's like, probably off somewhere being a fucking bitch.
It is.
I'm like, I like you. Even though she might die. She's the one during the epilogue, they were like, because it goes through, I am skipping way ahead.
Yeah, we're skipping all the way to we haven't even introduced the characters yet.
But yeah, it shows where all the characters supposedly are now. I don't know if these are real people. I don't think they are. It's like, Emily joins a hardcore crumping group. She was never seen again.
Someone straight up fucking dies, and it's showing their picture at the end too on Polaroids, which never happened in this movie.
No one was filming half of the things that were getting like an obnoxious amount of likes either.
I'm starting to notice a theme with these YouTube Red movies, in that there will be a character in there somewhere that is probably a YouTube celebrity. Or it'll have some kind of reference to social media or something. So the bad guy in the... Alright, before even getting to the bad guy, the plot of this movie is... It is a movie called Dance Camp. What do you think it's about? It is about this kid who gets in some trouble. He has to do community service. So, of course, you gotta do that at dance camp. So he ends up going to dance camp to basically work as like a janitor for the place, but he does know his dance, and as soon as he gets to the dance camp, It's in the middle of the woods. It's like in any other movie, this would be a slasher film. It's in the middle of the woods, and so you have the different groups that are doing their own dances. You'll just suddenly randomly see just people dancing like ballet just across the street as they're across the dirt road as they're driving up. And so there's like the ballerinas who seem to do all of their dancing in slow motion. And then there's my favorite group, which was the Yolos.
They were the best.
The Yolos, which make this camp look like it should be called fucking jailbait camp.
Sorry, if you noticed in the past minute that my eyes have been going kind of crazy. I noticed that this light is so bright that if I look to the side fast enough, I can see the veins in my eyelids.
Nice!
So if you're watching this and being like, did she just have a seizure? I didn't.
I am so ADD. There's several times when we're filming these in the car and someone's talking and I'm just kind of looking off to the side.
I do that all the time, but like I was literally like my eyes might have been going a little crazy in my head, so sorry.
I think I was doing some stuff with my eyes too when we shot the Zoolander 2 one on webcam because it was like a split second of catching up whenever so I would be looking this way, then when I would look back for like a split second I would still be looking that way and it would throw me off. That was more entertaining to me than talking about Zoolander 2. So it turns out that our main character, Hunter, is he also knows the dance, and he knows how to do the dance. He's got the dance inside of him. And to go along with his community service, the guy who runs the camp also wants him to join up with a dance troupe, which he does. He joins up with the
which is ridiculous because they're already all in groups and already have their thing worked out, like their routine worked out with the people that they already have. And he wants him to join a dance group, which is unfair to him and also any group that he joins. And so he joins up with his bunkmates group. His bunkmate is named Jeb, right?
Jeb.
Yeah. It's Jeb, who is his bunkmate, who goes to every camp. He is a camp pro, as he describes himself. And then there's this other dude, I can't remember his name, but he's deaf, but he can like feel like rhythms.
He also gets plot points explained to him too. Like at the end, when Hunter, the main guy, is seen kissing another girl, that means things are really tense with Hunter and Cheyenne, the main girl. And so in the background, you see that one of the Jeb has to tell the deaf kid like what happened. So he's signing to him basically like Hunter kissed this other girl, and just randomly in the background, you just see the deaf kid. He's having his own ooh in his head. Like people off screen just kind of know what's going on. When like a real sick burn has happened, the DJ during one of the dance-offs senses that a sick burn just happened. So you just hear record scritch.
Yeah, he's
so good.
The villain to Jeb is like,
Lance.
I don't mess around with special needs kids. And he's like, well, your mom did last night.
Screech! Oh, yeah, you were sitting there like, good thing that the DJ knew that a sick burn had just happened.
I know.
I like
because it is. You see the actual DJ. It's not just like background music abruptly stops. You see the DJ several times. Like she's a character. But yeah, okay, so there's Jeb, there's the deaf kid, there's these two characters who don't really get a whole lot of focus.
And then at the end it says these two characters ended up together.
Well, no, there's Chandra gets a little bit of at least like character. But there's this girl named Emily and this dude whose name I don't even remember, and they don't really get very much focus at all. To the point where like there's a scene where he has to go talk to everybody individually and he talks to them together because it just cuts to him being like, so are you guys in? And they're like, yeah, all right.
I am fine with that because this movie is totally cool with being 80 minutes long. This is only an 80-minute film. Or why not? Let's not drag this out any farther than
I just thought it was funny that it was like these characters and them. There's Chandra, who talks too much. I guess. Like, it never really seemed to me like she was especially talkative, but maybe that's just because I'm a rambly person. But yeah, everyone's constantly like, Chandra, you talk too much.
Well, because the scenes where she is talking too much, it's scenes where she only had to say like maybe one or two words, like when they're passing around that ball so they can introduce themselves.
Fair enough.
And she starts going on like her life story. And then there's your name for Cheyenne when she popped up, and she's like the kind of the leader of this particular dance troupe. And you said something like, "Oh, hello, I'm Pink Pigtails McNosering, aka Rebel."
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheyenne is, I honestly didn't hate her as much as you did. You really hated this character.
I really hated Cheyenne.
How come?
She's terrible.
I honestly didn't think so. I honestly thought that, like, she was right in being annoyed in the scenes in which she was annoyed. Like, yeah,
I really didn't. I mean, sometimes, yeah, but, like, sometimes she was just being ridiculous, and, like, I feel like it was just I feel like it was painting her as being a hard ass, and then they were trying to show that she became not a hard ass, but she didn't really. She just kind of started making out with Hunter.
I mean, her arc is kind of just that she needed to lighten up, but, like, you know, they basically said, oh, by the way, the janitor is going to be joining you. So I imagine that's got to annoy her a bit.
Oh,
like,
I understood her being annoyed that the janitor joined her group. I didn't understand her getting mad at him and telling him that he needed to try harder and giving a speech about how, like, you better be working twice as hard as the person next to you. Mm-hmm. That's how dance is.
Well, he was fucking up. Like, when they've had their first dance off, which honestly that should have really
literally the second that he joined, she's like, "Why do you not know the routine?"
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, he was being a dick about the fact that he fucked everything up. But, like, I don't think it was entirely his fault, because apparently that was the next day after he had joined the group.
They should have, but they should have been instantly disqualified from that. Like, they were clearly the worst ones there. The only reason why they're going forward is just because the guy who's in charge of the camp just likes them better.
Yeah, and, like, the group that they went up against was the misinterpretive dancers. So their dancing was basically just them being kind of weird.
Yeah. But at least their dancing was something different. Like, one thing I'll say about this movie is that a lot of it just feels just kind of really repetitive. Like, once you've seen one routine in this, you've kind of seen most of them. Unless someone is really fucking up, which only happens maybe once or twice, one doesn't really seem any better than another one, except for the ending with the body paint. Like, some of that was cool, but it was one of those dance scenes in movies where this only works because I'm watching it in a movie. Like, it's like the play at the end of Staying Alive, where you're watching it and it's like, this only seems to work because I'm watching it in a movie. This has got to make no sense for people who are there watching it live.
Yeah. And, like, the groups that actually had something, like, individual going for them, I just felt bad because, like, it's literally just, it's like apples to oranges. Like, how do you put the interpretive dance group up against, like, I don't know, hip-hop?
Or we missed the fact when they did, like, the couples duet dancing, and they didn't do it with Lance's group because Lance didn't have any.
Yeah,
he didn't have any females in his group.
Really wanted to see Lance and his entirely male group put, like, duets together.
Lance is the villain in this, and
Lance is hilarious.
The best part of this movie. He is over the top in all the ways that just make it so right. Like, he is every Billy Zabka 80s, whatever kind of teen movie you're watching. If there's, like, a bully in a dance movie, a high school movie, whatever, it's this guy. That is what he's doing. Only in this, since it's not an 80s movie, it's using a lot of tropes of an 80s movie. Certainly it is. But also, this is a YouTube Red movie, so he's an internet celebrity. And every time he does something, he'll say hashtag whatever it is he's doing, and the hashtag will pop up on screen. Some scenes, he's not even being filmed, but he'll be dancing, and it's showing how many likes it's getting.
Which is weird, because it's the Facebook thumbs up like, but he says that is showing that he's getting new subscribers.
Yeah, and he is weirdly intense in this movie, because he's vocally...
Hashtag Lance Camp.
Hashtag Lance Camp, bitch. Like, what he's saying and the enunciations he's using are totally appropriate for this movie.
Yeah.
But his eyes are... Okay, it's like if you had somebody like, say, like, Nick Carter and gave him Patrick Bateman's eyes.
Yeah.
They're freakishly intense. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I want to see this. I want to see the slasher movie version of this. It is this same story, these same characters, but that guy is a fucking killer. That would kind of work.
It would, yeah. That'd be an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch that movie.
Actually,
I watched this one, but
movie. It was Stage Fright, that musical slasher movie I watched. That actually wasn't that bad.
I don't think I've seen that.
It was,
I know I haven't
Meatloaf
seen
in it. That wasn't a bad. I kind of liked. I remember liking that movie. And this movie, what I appreciate about this movie is that it does seem like it knows what kind of movie it is. Like, you can't direct stuff like the things that Lance is doing and the dialogue they have with each other, the weird back and forths and the dance-off shit. The movie knows what kind of movie it is. It certainly does. It knows it's a cheesy flick. But it's not... I wouldn't call it a spoof movie. I wouldn't really even call it parody.
No.
It's slightly more homage, if anything. It kind of just is one of those movies. Like,
yeah.
The people who made it seemed like they didn't want to be like winking at the camera or do anything totally self-aware or like, you know, and then suddenly a character from Step Up comes in, you know, like, or anything like that, really. It just seems like we want to make a silly kind of throwback to like an 80s dance movie, but it's set in modern times. That's really what they did here, because the main character, Hunter, plays it totally straight. Yeah, Lance is over the top, but he's the villain. Everyone else does kind of play it straight.
There was one time where Jeb was actually, he was like after they do the like Dance Revolution thing, Jeb, it's kind of like in the background, but like Jeb walks away and he's like, man, that was like a fucking movie or something, man.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, I mean, it does have some really weird parts in this. Like, you've seen this in movies where the guy who's like the janitor or whatever starts dancing with the mop. In this, to clean the stain up off the ground, he just wraps the towel around his foot and starts dancing. I honestly feel so sorry for Hunter and kind of understand why maybe he's getting some of his dancing kind of fucked up, because does he even sleep at this point? He's here doing 100 hours worth of community. He's effectively the janitor of this place, yet the guy in charge is like, oh, by the way, you're also going to be in the dance troupe and part of this competition. Like, can I do one or the other, man?
Well, he asks him, like, do you want to get this out? Do you want to get your hours done more quickly?
But he still has to work. Like, yeah, he doesn't have to do the whole 100 hours, but he is still doing both of those things.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, he, instead of just spending, like doing cleaning and then just having off time, he asks him if he wants to be part of the dance
but
group on top of doing it. So he is doing it, like, he consented to doing a lot more work.
That's what I mean. He's basically got like a 24-hour day, because it's not like, oh, you don't have to clean anything now, you can just do this dance thing. He's doing both. He is like the janitor of this camp and like, okay, great, now I have to do 8 hours of dance. And then they line it up to where both of them kind of he finishes his community service right before the ending dance competition, in which right before then he made out with Cheyenne in front of the tree from Avatar.
Yeah.
With CGI fireflies and shit. What in the fuck? Okay, anyway. So that happened. And then Cheyenne is like, yeah, I gotta focus on, like, we had our moment, but I gotta focus on this dance, which, you know, right on. She probably doesn't want to be distracted by any of that shit. So then he's like, okay, so once he finishes his community service, he just bums the fuck off. Yeah, he comes back later, but it's kind of on the dude who runs the camp.
That's what I was saying. Like, why would you tell him that he was now done and could leave right before that and then punish his group for it?
Yeah.
Because he comes back and he's like, well, all your dancers aren't here, so you forfeit.
Yeah, so this other group is punished because the guy who the camp director forced to be in their group bummed out because he didn't have to be there anymore. Like, yeah, it made him a fucking dickhead, but technically he didn't have to be there anymore.
And he had no way of knowing that his group was going to be punished for it, like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, it seemed like the camp director was like, you can go home, and then showed up and was like, where the fuck is Hunter? Like...
There is some weird scenes in this movie, though. Like, right after this, the character of Jeb has something... He has an illness, and he has to, like... When he's in bed, he has, like, a gas mask
I don't
on.
know if it's an illness or what. He says it's a neuralizer, and he says he does it to relax before bed. So it seems like it's just a weird quirk of this character that he... It honestly kind of reminded me of some of the stuff that Chris does on Parks and Rec, that it's just some weird health thing that this kid's into.
I didn't know. He's addicted to oxygen.
Yeah, he's like... Yeah, it's a neuralizer. It's the only way I can relax before bed. So maybe it's a medical thing. I just took it as some weird health quirk that this character has.
Well, it made it look like...
his betrayal killed Jeb.
Yeah, just killed Jeb. So when Hunter comes back and Jeb is laying on the top bunk with his oxygen mask on, just laying there, like in any minute now, he's gonna die.
Yeah, and like I was like it was almost like this scene would have been the same if he had gone to see him in the hospital.
Yeah. So Hunter is like giving this speech about friendship and why he returned and all this, like you would kind of see in one of these movies. But you see
hear Jeb's like labored breathing in the background, yeah.
Like, what is like suddenly it kind of did turn into a spoof movie in that one scene.
Yeah. Yeah, because it had mentioned earlier that because that, like, the first night that he was sleeping.
Yeah, it showed him with that
showed
mask.
him with the thing on, and he says that, like, he does it to relax, and, like, he's, like, really labored. It's, like, this weird, like, whining breathing, too. He's like...
It's what you see in movies right before the character is gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, you expect, like, Hunter's just gonna say, stay gold, and walk off the screen. You're gonna hear, beep! What in the shit? Wow, they should have taken him to a hospital. This movie is the kind of, like, I think that if you're looking for a good dance movie to watch, pop in, like, Breakin' or Saturday Night Fever, one of my favorite movies. Like, there's a lot of genuinely great ones you could watch, certainly. If you're looking for a cheesy one, there's plenty from the 80s you could watch, or Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. If you're looking for something that's, like, really bad and you could laugh at it, I would definitely say Dancin', it's on more than this one. But at the same time, like, if you're with a group of friends and you do want to watch something kind of cheesy with a lot of dancing in it, like, you could have a pretty good time with this. I imagine if, like, me and Brian watched this, or, like, if it was a group of us and, like, Allison was there and Phelan, we would probably have a pretty good time with this movie. It is an insanely more likable film than any fucking moment from Lazer Team. Yeah, it's fucking cheesier than Lazer Team is. But between the two YouTube Red movies we watched today, I would rather watch this one. And I can't say neither one of them really makes me want to get a subscription to YouTube Red. I don't know, like, after seeing this, I think I could be like, all right, show me a couple more things of what you got, and I'll think about it, because
I think the other two that they advertised were the unicorn one and like it was like Let's Scare PewDiePie or something.
oh yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I remember the
And there was one that was like School of Pranks or something where the dude was teaching other people how to prank.
Oh yeah, I remember catching a bit of that. Yeah, I think I was playing on my phone because the previews hadn't started yet.
I don't remember the unicorn one if they advertised that.
It's
one
like a
in theaters.
documentary about. I think it's a documentary about some YouTube star. I might be wrong about that,
so
but
then,
it's
the
categorized as a
the other
documentary.
three are documentaries then.
I barely remember. I mean, I mainly remembered Lazer Team I had heard of beforehand, but this one I hadn't, and I was just like, dance camp? What? Oh, I perked up like dance camp. Yeah, we're watching dance camp.
I think it was the YOLOs that got us to do it.
YOLO. And only one of those characters is credited as YOLO on the credit. That's just the girl's name, I guess.
The main
The
blonde.
blonde.
Yeah. That group gets some very last minute characterization as being really like snobby and like full of themselves because like I think you went to the bathroom during the scene where they get eliminated because like
oh okay yeah I did
it shows them like it's like the YOLOs versus TBD and they're all kind of like like and then they announced that TBD won and the main blonde girl's like no recount and they have to like drag her off and like
I like that. I wish I'm sad I missed that, actually. I think I was, between all the groups, I think I was rooting for YOLO.
I felt bad when the ballet chicks got eliminated.
They practiced their slow motion so hard.
Like, that, but like also, like, it just seems kind of unfair to put ballerinas up against hip-hop dancers at this camp that clearly is favoring hip-hop dancers when like Lance's team has won the past 3 years and he's still technically won,
so it would be like but he doesn't have respect now.
No, he doesn't, but like
he doesn't have his cred. It would be like if they're doing those like Lay's versus thing now, and so like Lay's honey barbecue versus like Gouda and chive at the barbecue convention.
That's not how they're doing it. I think the one against honey barbecue is Korean barbecue.
I know, but I mean, like, I wouldn't have been able to make my point with that.
Oh, I
then,
get what
like,
you're saying.
either one of them could have won the barbecue competition.
I get you, yeah. Like that, I did feel bad when the ballerinas got eliminated, but like only because like they didn't do anything that made me not want them to win, and it actually seemed like they were helping Hunter at one point because it kept showing him doing ballet with them. So
the ballerinas were making this look like a horror film because suddenly
every time you see them, they're like really like intensely dramatically like prancing across an open field together.
I'm like, what ballerinas? Their bunk burnt down 20 years ago.
Yeah, that is kind of like that.
Okay.
Like at one point he's gonna be like walking across the basketball field and they're gonna go through him.
Yeah.
Like,
the fuck is this creepy ass camp?
Basketball field.
One quick rewrite, and this is a spoof film.
Yeah.
The basket. Yeah, you can dance or you can play basketball, but you can't play dance.
Oh no,
I like that in the background you can see the YOLOs line dancing in one scene.
Yeah, there's one scene where like he's talking to the camp director, and previously it had been showing all of the groups doing like really intense, like dramatic, but like it was like they told these actresses that they were going to be on camera, but like not to take up too much, like I don't know, like too much of the focus, and so it just shows them like kind of like flouncing and kicking, which is very weird because their dancing is like very aggressively sexual and very jailbaity.
Oh yeah, yeah, way more than anything in the movie Jailbait Babysitter.
Yeah, no, like it's like their uniform is tight yoga shorts and like very loose crop t-shirts.
That's
not usually one of those things that I would criticize in a dance movie, and I'm not really criticizing it, but like it was very, very, very jailbaity. Like just
and their style of dance was classified as inappropriate. But it still seems to be perfectly fine in this camp. No one's stopping them. And there was one where their style of dance was craft twerk. Bravo for the Kraftwerk reference movie.
I did kind of like that scene. He like walks by them and like it's like three dudes, but like the girl is like the main one, like because you see one of their performances too, and she's dressed in like a silver spandex, like not zoot suit, morph suit, and but like he walks past them and like she just like with a completely like frozen intense frozen expression starts like robotically like gesturing him to come over, and he's like, no, I'm good, you guys keep doing your thing though, you guys are really pretending to be robots.
Yeah, those poor robots. Yeah, no, I chuckled here and there at the movie.
When they get eliminated, they like robotically like mime being sad.
Yeah, they jump into a bathtub and they electrocute themselves. Sparks fly out. Oh shit. So you have any final thoughts on this? I can't think of anything else we've
Not
missed.
really. I like there's the closing scene with the Polaroids, like we already kind of mentioned. So they get eliminated because Hunter's not there. He shows up like 2 seconds after they get disqualified. And so he has to go around the camp and get everybody back together. And then they set up this like secret outdoor thing. There was this running thing of like the camp director knew Hunter when he was younger and took like a recording of him dancing, which they even point out that that's creepy, that he just keeps that on his desk at all times.
He keeps referring to him as Little James Brown, like earlier on in the movie, and then at the end when they win this thing against Lance.
And Hunter doesn't like the camp director because he scared the shit out of him by throwing a shoe at him when he was younger.
Oh yeah, so he throws a shoe at him at the end. So like. Then the camp director says to him in front of everybody, like, looks like you still got little James inside of you.
And everyone's like, yeah, you do. Like, no one knows what that means.
Like, there were a couple of people in the background who were like, what? Yeah, and I'm like...
I was only really focusing on, like, the people in...
Oh, no,
like,
there were
Cheyenne
other people who were like...
yeah!
But, like, there were a few other people who were like, okay. And I'm like, that's why I was like... Hunter's the only one who knows the context of what you just said.
Yeah.
Dude, you are already running a very jailbaity camp, and you're like 50. Maybe cut it down on saying shit like, "Oh, little James is still inside of you."
Yeah, because he even like, there's a part where, after he fucks with Lance after Lance does something to them. I can't remember what exactly. Or he pushes him onto a bench covered in wet paint.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jeb, and I really feel bad calling him the deaf kid, but I can't remember his name. The three of them sneak out wearing animal masks, which one of the reasons why people don't necessarily have to know sign language to speak to the deaf kid is because he's really good at reading lips. They're wearing full face masks and turning around to talk to him, and he's getting it.
I like that they're doing this to fuck with Lance when Lance is doing one of his YouTube updates, and no one who's holding the camera for him stops and says like, yeah, dude, like the movie You're Next is happening in the window right behind you.
They're all wearing creepy animal masks, and they keep like peeking in, and you can see them through the camera because you're looking through the camera.
Yeah.
They keep like peeking in the windows, which like, okay. So they hope like puncture some body spray cans, throw them into the room, and like bar the door so he can't get out. But it turns out he has like fragrance allergic syndrome, It's something along those lines, and so it really fucks up his face, and so it ends up being like more serious than
He fucks up his face for one scene.
Yeah. And so after that, he sends Lance out, and Hunter like tries to leave, and he's like, no, I need to show something to you. I did actually like this part though. He picks up a VHS and he's like, "Ha, you youngins, do you even know what this is?" And Hunter's just like, yeah.
Oh, what a fucking VHS tape.
Like, I don't know. I liked that was like, yes, people my age know what VHSs are. We grew up with them too. Briefly, but they were around. And so he pops in the VHS, and it's of Hunter when he was a little kid, dancing, and Hunter's like, it's a little creepy that you keep that on your desk.
Right? Just in case I need to see my little J. Do you recommend this movie?
Sure. I mean, I don't not recommend it. I wouldn't say like 10 out of 10 must see or anything.
Oh,
but
God.
I also wouldn't say like 0 stars, avoid at all costs. If it sounds good to you, you'll like it. If you don't, you won't. If
you're the type who where like a really cheesy ass dance movie can kind of hit the sweet spot sometimes, you might get some enjoyment out of this. Like I said, if you're in a party environment or something like that where you could get some laughs out of a movie like Dance Camp, you'll enjoy it. If none of this sounds appealing to you at all, you won't like it. This movie will not change your mind on cheesy dance movies.
If you just have a soft spot for cheesy dance movies, like, you know, even watching it non-ironically, if you just really like cheesy dance movies, you'll like it. Like, the dancing is good. Like, it genuinely is. It's not one of those dance movies where the dancing is just really shitty, you know?
No, but I mean, it is repetitive.
It's repetitive, but if you like dance movies, like, the dancing in it is fine. The acting in it is mostly fine. Yeah, if you like that kind of thing, I think you'll dig it. Like, that, I can think of several reasons why you would like it, and a lot of reasons why you wouldn't. Like, it's pretty much just up to you, man. Theoretical person watching this right now. I'm talking to you.
That one guy. Alright, well, the next, let's see, the next movies are 999 and Gods of Egypt. So far they haven't listed Gods of Egypt as a pre-screening, but we're definitely at some point could be seeing Gods of Egypt. Alright, see you then.